Hello guys, welcome to my YouTube channel. So I called this video "We're gonna need more whiskey." So the reason I entitled it "We're gonna need more whiskey" is because I used the color Whiskey from the Naked Smoky Eye palette so much in this look. So of course, naturally, we're gonna need more whiskey, right? But what's ironic about this is that I did this video before going to get my new ID, the real ID thing that we have to get with the little star on it. So that is so ironic. I don't want to get a DUI, huh? Anyways, stay tuned for this video to show you how I got this makeup look and this hair, okay? Okay guys, so what's so important about a good makeup look is moisturization. Here I'm using an Unscented facial lotion by Smartly that I bought from Target, and I'm just applying it all over my face. And of course you're supposed to moisturize in an upward direction, but I just let that go all the way out the window. Okay, next, the most important thing about a makeup look is also your lips. Moisturize those things, honey. And here I'm using Soft Lips in the scent Watermelon, and I'm just putting that all over my lips, okay? So now we're just gonna brush those brows out with a spoolie. I'm using an angled / spoolie brush by e.l.f. Cosmetics. And I'm just putting those brows into a place where I feel like it's good enough for me to finally put in the brow pomade. So I'm using brow pomade by Anastasia, Beverly Hills in the color Sable. And that's what you see me drawing at the bottom of my brow here. Just creating an arch because my brows barely have an arch. I barely have brow hairs, and so I'm going to go in very heavily towards the end. I'm putting on more pomade at the end than I did at the beginning of my brow, just because I do not have a brow ending, so I have to create that illusion. And then I'm going in on the top, creating a top arch as well in the end of that brow, because again, I don't have brow endings, so I have to create that illusion. And then I'm just simply going to take the angled brush and fill in those parts as well. I'm going to do that on the opposite brow, just like I did on the other side. I'm making an arch, and then I'm making an arch on the top, going heavily on the end than I did in the beginning, and filling in that brow. So now I'm taking my eyeliner pencil by Wet n Wild in the color Simma Brown, and I'm just filling in those brows in the areas where Anastasia just could not get. Plus, I love the duo that those two have together. Once I combine the Anastasia with the Wet n Wild Simma Brown, it is a perfect duo. I love it. Anastasia's more dark, where Simma Brown is more light, and they just create an awesome look. So now I'm going back over it with the spoolie just to give that airbrush effect and to blend the two colors together so we can get that awesome duo action that the two give us. Alright, now I know you're looking at me like, Haley, these brows are so thick, like I could be Frida Kahlo's cousin. What are we doing here? Well, listen, you just gotta trust the process, okay? Just get into it. Trust the process. So what you see me doing here is taking an angled brush, and I have mixed the colors Cinnamon and Coral by Anastasia's Contour Cream Kit, and I'm just tracing that arch right up under my brow, trying to clean up any of the areas where the brush just got out of line and just a mess. So I'm just trying to clean up those areas and make a clean arch. So I'm going to do that at the bottom, and I'm also going to do that at the top here in a little bit. But remember, I did mix two colors, which were Cinnamon and Coral, okay? So here I am doing it on the top, making another arch, cleaning up those areas, and making it look very sleek. So we don't look like Frida Kahlo's cousin, okay? We want to look just astonishing, okay? And listen, you can't do that without a good concealer, and that's what I'm doing here. Now for this contour cream kit by Anastasia Beverly Hills, it is important to note that it hardens up pretty fast. So I did pre-spray it with setting spray just to help it go on smoothly and glide on my skin and not create lumps and humps. So yeah, and then I also have to put it on pretty thick because I was at the end of the palette. Like, I used it so much, so I had to apply it as thick as I could to get the pigment out of it. That's why you see me applying it so heavily. If you have a newer, fresh concealer, you may not have to do that, but that's what I'm doing here. I do go farther than the brow to again create that shadow airbrush illusion. So I do draw, like what you see me doing here, I draw it way past the brow, almost connecting two of the brows together. So look at me, guys. I really like this shape. I'm impressed by the brow, and so I just went ahead and did both of them. So the same thing that I did to one brow, I did to the other. Nothing different, both the same. Now we're just gonna talk about how I blend and truly conceal. And I just take the same two colors that I mixed, coral and cinnamon, and I draw a line down the center, and I create a box shape in the beginning. I'll do that on both sides. And then once I create that box shape, I go in from the opposite direction and I brush inward towards the nose. So that way I get that airbrush wispy look that I keep talking about. And it just makes the brow come out so much nicer. It takes away that unibrow look, very thick, unkempt brow look. It just makes it look so nice and so wispy and so airbrushed. So I love, love, love to do this method. The next important step in this process is to blend out. You always want to blend outward because it just makes things a lot easier for your life, okay? Blending out is gonna make it less cakey. To put things in easier terms, for me it makes it less cakey. So you blend out. I always put it over my eyes because that just kind of helps the eyeshadow come out and pop and be more pigmented. And then, you know, you don't have to put a lot of primer over your eyes when you do it that way. So always blend outward into my eye, pulling that concealer down so it's not as cakey. And also, if you don't blend out, it's gonna have a harsh line and you don't want that. So I'm tapping my angled brush into the concealer and back onto my eye, blending downward from that harsh line so it's not still there. And I'm also gonna do the same thing. Y'all, I was so into the music. I don't even know what was playing. But back to the money. So I tap the concealer brush into the palette and then back onto my eye, blending outward from that harsh line. So we're going to do the same thing on the top that we did on the bottom, which is taking that angled brush mixed with coral and cinnamon, putting it on the harsh line, and just blend outward. Blend outward as much as possible, okay? It's going to make your life easier, trust me. So here you see me using my continuous setting mist by Morphe and a flat brush, and I just wisp it right on out. I blend out as much as I possibly can. Those two things together make the blending out process a lot easier. It makes it smoother and it gets rid of that harsh line a lot quicker than just using the contour palette and the angled brush. Okay, then you take a spoolie and just go back over it to give it that wispy look that we've been talking about this entire time. That's just what I like to do. I mean, a lot of people don't like to do that because they don't want to mess up the brow, but for me, it really, really helps hone in on that front portion of the brow where you want it to be the most wispiest. I know that's kind of hard to say, the most wispiest. See, look at that. It looks so, like, you know, faded in and erased. I love that. So So I'm using this eyelid primer called Prime Time by Bare Minerals, and I'm just going to place that over my eyelid just as you see me doing. This is not my most favorite eye primer. It's very cakey and it dries up so quick that like you can't smooth it out. Like you literally have to like be so harsh on your eyelid that it's dangerous. Like I could go blind how hard I have to press on my eyelid. It's not my most favorite, but here I am using it. I would suggest using another one. So for the eyeshadows, I'm going to use Naked and Too Faced, the Naked Smoky and the Too Faced Natural Nudes palettes, okay? And I'll try my hardest to do a cut crease, but it doesn't turn out as cut as I would like it to. So you see me going in with my favorite color that I talked about already, Whiskey, right? This is why we're going to need so much more Whiskey because, I mean, this cut crease did not turn out as cut as I would like it to be. So go in as hard as you can with that Whiskey, and you just want to go over like the little brow bone portion and like maybe the outer corners of the eye. So I'm going to blend the color Whiskey with the color Truffle from my Too Faced palette just to make it blend better. And then I'm also going to take my Sweet Peach palette and use the color Charmed, I'm sure, for blending purposes as well. And then after that, we're going to go in for the cut crease. Let me say a little prayer. Dear Lord Jesus, let this cut crease come out nicely. Oof, in Jesus' name I pray. All right. So I go back over the eyeshadow with that primer again, just so that my lighter color can pop over the darker colors that you just see me lay over my eyelids. And I try to be more neater than I was the first time for that cut portion, because that primer is so important. That's why I say like it's the worst primer in the world, because if I would have had a better primer, it probably would have been easier to make it more cut. But because my primer just dried up so fast, it made it much harder. So yeah, just try to be a little neat when you put the primer over the eyelid. Some people use concealer, but my concealer was way too harsh for this. I couldn't use it. So the primer was my most creamiest consistency that I had in order to make this look work. But when you do this look, you definitely want a cream-based concealer, more watery than ever, because it just helps make the crease better. So I'm taking my Too Faced Natural Nudes palette and I'm going over that concealer with the color Golden Light, and I also mix it with the color Shimmering Pearl. So that's what you see me doing here. I'm putting that on top of the primer area so that it can pop. Just taking my brush and I'm gonna do the same thing on the opposite side. The exact same thing, exact same colors on the opposite side. I'm just laying it on top of that primer just so the lighter colors can pop on top of the darker colors. Okay, so that's what you see me doing here. So now you see me going back in with my most favorite color, Whiskey, and we're putting it on the ends of the eyelid as well as over the top up under that brow bone, just to like make it appear more creased. But like I said, I had the hardest time getting a cut crease because I just the concealer just wasn't there, girls. It just was not there, okay? The concealer just had me looking a straight fool. So I did my best trying to make it as cut as I could with what I had, and I was fairly satisfied. So, you know, this look turned out pretty decent, but you do have to use a lot of Whiskey if your concealer sucks. So now I'm just applying a little bit of Scotch tape on the ends of my eyelid because I'm preparing to put on eyeliner, and this just makes my eyeliner straight and neat and clean and makes the look come all completely together. So invest in some Scotch tape, girls, okay? It's gonna help your makeup looks turn out better than what you can do with the freehand. Sometimes I like to freehand it, but This time I just didn't want to freehand it. I went in with the Scotch tape. So I'm going to go in with my Kat Von D eyeliner and just trace over the very end of my lid right above the lash line. And I'm just going to follow it all the way to the end of my eyelid and try and make like a S curl, but it's not going to turn out like an S curl because the tape makes everything straight, so whatever hits the center part of the tape isn't going to show up on the face. And that's what I like about the tape. Like, you can just go crazy, go stupid, and it's going to turn out good no matter what you do. So now we've reached my favorite part, which is peeling the tape back. I love it. It's like a reveal, like on America's Next Top Model or something. You just reveal the eyes, okay, honey? So now you see me putting on foundation. I'm using a pre-moistened sponge. I believe this sponge is by Real Techniques. I'm not quite sure. It's probably just TJ Maxx, to be honest. But you just spread the foundation around and put it on and leave it at that. It's nothing to put it on foundation. That's not the hard part. It's literally the easiest portion of this process. So now we're back to using our angled brush. This is literally your friend throughout this entire look. And I am using my Anastasia Beverly Hills contour palette again for this look. And we are using the color Nude. And I'm just making backwards triangles up under my eyes. I don't know, that's not necessarily a triangle, but you get what I'm trying to say. I just put it up under the eye in like a triangular shape and fill in those triangles with the color Nude from my Anastasia Beverly Hills palette. And I'm just going to continue that until I am satisfied with the amount on my face. And then once I'm done with the eyes, I put a little bit over my Cupid's bow and just a few dots on my forehead. I don't like to put a lot on my forehead because it makes my forehead look ashy, and I don't like that. Plus, I used a buttload of concealer already up there because of the brows. So I go back with the opposite end of my sponge and I just blend out again. Blending out is literally going to be the holy grail of this makeup look. You just blend out as much as you can with that concealer, and this just helps things look more defined because foundation can make your face look flat, but you got to put some definition back in it. Again, this concealer dries up really quickly, so I had to take some setting spray and make it a lot less hard. Here you see me taking a little kabuki brush. I'm just blending out again. Just blending it out, getting rid of harsh lines, helping that definition come into play, and getting rid of those weird specks that can be left behind with very harsh concealer. So to contour this look, I'm using the color Carob with my Anastasia Beverly Hills Contour Cream Kit. And it's just giving me cheekbones, you know. I love a look with sharp cheekbones, and this creates that illusion that I have those. So I just do that on both sides and just kind of eyeball it where to stop. You don't want to put too much on because you don't want to look like you got beat up. Now I'm going in with the angled brush and I'm going over my nose in a very straight line to create more of a sharp, pointy nose. Now I do this because it makes my makeup look come together, but I definitely love my black nose. I love having a big nose. I don't mind having that. It is a very intricate feature of my face, but contouring my nose just makes the makeup look come together and makes my nose look less shiny. That is the only reason I do that. No self-hate over here, okay guys? So I'm going back in with the color Carob on the side of my nose just to make that highlight pop a little more. And I'm using a mini kabuki brush to blend out those harsh lines. So here you see me going in with Sacha Buttercup setting powder just to set the makeup look and make everything come together nicely and take away some of that oiliness that you can get after putting on makeup. I put it under my eye, I put it on my chin, and also on my Cupid's bow, which you will see me do here. So this is the look after I've dusted off all of the setting powder, and now I'm about to put on some highlight. So the highlight that I use is really not a real highlight. It's just some super gold eyeshadow that I had from a very long time ago. I bought from Walgreens. I don't even remember who it's by. I think it's Maybelline. I don't know. It's just really, really gold, but it's so nice and shimmery. And that's what I use as a highlight. And now you see me putting on my blush. I also think this is by Maybelline. I'm not quite sure who this is by, but I just smile really, really hard and I just put it on the rosiness part of my cheek. I go back in with a larger kabuki brush and just kind of mix everything together, get rid of harsh lines, just make everything look smooth. So now I'm going back over my cheeks with the Milk Makeup Lip and Cheek Stick and the color Work. It just makes my cheeks pop a little more. I suggest taking the stick and just putting it on instead of doing what I'm doing here. And then once I'm done with that, I'm gonna go back over my face with the Continuous Misting Spray by Morphe Cosmetics. I'm gonna put on some mascara to preset my lashes for the false lashes that I'm gonna put on. But first, let's get into this hair. So I peel back and look at that harsh line. Oh my gosh. I'm gonna show you a trick on how I get rid of that in just a second. But first, let's do the hair. So I take the fake hair. I don't know, it's Expressions hair, I think. I don't know, it's some old hair I found in my closet. So I take the hair, I think it's Expressions, honestly. I just put it on top of my hair and I twist it around just like what you see me doing. Just kind of comb out some lumps and humps, separate it a little because it was like sticking together and just a hot mess. So I'm twisting it, and then once I twist it to where I like it, I kind of start going around my hair in a circular motion while also simultaneously twisting the hair. So twist and spin, that is the method here. Twist and spin. And while you're twisting, you're gonna go up under your previous twist. Not on top, but up under. And so as you're like twisting up under each spin, it's gonna push the hair up to the top and create like a ice cream look. So I call it an ice cream bun because my mama called it an ice cream bun. I don't know if that's really what it's called, but you really have to pull tight and twist and spin. That is the method. Pull tight, twist, spin, up under each spin. Okay guys, that is how you're gonna get that very nice ice cream look. To complete the look, you're just gonna tuck it up under. You don't even have to use any hairpins. You're just gonna tuck real tight and nice, and it really shouldn't move all day after this. I do have a little bit of a cow look, but that's because I was reckless in the beginning, guys. Don't be reckless like me. So to finish off the look and get rid of this super huge harsh line, I take my misting spray and the beloved flat brush that we use for the brows and blend out. We're back to that blending out here that I talk about so often in this video. You just spray, put it on the brush, and blend out. And that's how you're going to get rid of that harsh line. And you got to go in pretty hard because for me, when I use a head wrap and put on my makeup, I mean, it just really dents my head. So I even have to use my fingers to try and get rid of that harsh line, but eventually it does go away and begins to look a little more natural than what it looks right now. So now for the fun part, which is putting on those lashes. So I just freehand it now. I don't even use a tweezer anymore. Just as long as the lash is in the shape of my eye, I can literally just eyeball it and stick it on. And I take the tweezers only to just press it in a little more because I don't want to use my fingers. They're too big. But the tweezer is just the perfect size to push up on that lash line and make the lashes stick a little more. Okay, so for the lips, I'm back to using that Wet n Wild Simma Brown, and we're just gonna outline the lips with that color. And once I'm done outlining the lips with the Simma Brown, I do take a darker black lip liner pencil just to go over it. As you notice, I do a lot of mixing in this video because mixing just makes colors that, you know, you just didn't buy and pay for. You just make them yourself, and that's what I love about it. So that's what you'll see me do later on in this segment of the video. So for the lip gloss, I struggled with telling you guys what lip gloss company this is. So maybe if you DM me, I'll tell you who it is, but I just love it so much that if it flies off the shelf, I will be so mad. Thanks for watching. Thanks for being faithful. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, okay?